Welcome. My name is Keith Baker. I'm the Executive Director for Reconnect Rondo. We are so excited to be here to announce the gathering of a lot of communities from across the country. As many of you may know, Reconnect Rondo has been leading a restorative movement to knit back a community devastated by the highway system. But when we talk about Reconnect Rondo, we're also talking about 950 communities from across the country, similarly impacted. We've had unprecedented investment in transportation through the Reconnecting Communities grants, as well as the bipartisan infrastructure bill, Thriving Communities grants. This has been an extraordinary time for transportation. But as we think about this extraordinary time for transportation, we must think about and reflect on the devastation caused to community by investments some 50, 60, 70 years ago. For the community of Rondo, it was emerging as a middle class for 170 years. And with 170 years, it knitted together a social, cultural, economic, civic, and spiritual fabric. Well, we're excited to host this second annual Reconnecting Community Summit, one that begins to call a national restorative movement, one that binds one community to the next. We have more than 20 communities that have gathered here for a second time, and we expect a few more to kind of nestle their way in to learn and to leverage, to put collective power to work. So I'm really excited about the conference. The community of Rondo has rallied around this idea of possibility, and we're so excited to move forward with other communities from across the country. And at this particular point, I'd like to introduce Joshua Rodriguez and Neji Kirby.
Hello, everyone. My name is Josh Rodriguez. I am the Environmental Policy Director at AASHTO, and we are the American Association for State Highway and Transportation Officials. We are also a big partner with COMTO and luckily Reconnect Rondo. And through the Center for Environmental Excellence, we do a lot of work in the natural environmental space. Obviously, it's just something that's very important to this country. It's something very important to me and everybody at AASHTO. However, over the last several years, we've forgotten how much of a resource the human environment is and how much we need to be protecting and restoring that resource. And so we're very, very happy to be part of this organization with Reconnecting Rondo's Reconnecting Community Summit and being one of the sponsors. And which is why we're going to continue to support that, support the work that they do and support the work that COMTO does. And we're happy to be here and continuing to be a great supporter of that. And with that, I'll give you one of our partners, Neji Kirby with COMTO.
Hi, everyone. My name is Neji Kirby. I'm the Managing Director of Strategic Initiatives and Stakeholder Engagement at COMTO. And on behalf of the Conference of Minority Transportation Officials and our President, April Rye, thank you for the opportunity to speak with you today. The Reconnecting Community Summit reminds us that transportation is not just about infrastructure. It is the foundation of opportunity. It determines whether someone can access a good job, receive quality health care, attend a school that sets them on the path to success, or simply enjoy a safe and healthy environment. So COMTO's 53-year-old history is a testament to its unwavering commitment to transportation equity. Over the decades, we have worked tirelessly to break down barriers, advocate for underserved communities, and ensure that transportation is a pathway to opportunity for all. This legacy drives us forward as we continue to fight for a more equitable future. COMTO has 40 chapters across North America, and each chapter represents a unique community with its own transportation challenges and needs. And by bringing together these diverse voices, we can ensure that our transportation system serves everyone and not just a select few. So at the national level, we know, as we said, we've seen unprecedented investment in infrastructure through federal initiatives that prioritize equity. And we know that these investments are critical and will continue to be, but they must be guided by the voices of those who have been historically marginalized. It's not enough to simply build new roads or expand transit. We must ensure that these projects are designed with the needs of the community they serve in mind. So this means engaging with residents, listening to their concerns, and making sure that they are not just participants in the process, but true partners in shaping the future of transportation in these communities. So as our global footprint increases, we know that we have the power to make change. This includes reevaluating our public transit systems to make them more accessible, reliable, and affordable. So it also means prioritizing the safety of all road users, particularly pedestrians, cyclists, and people with disabilities. With adequate support, we can redesign streets to be more inclusive, ensuring that they serve everyone. So together, we can create a future where transportation equity is not just an aspiration, but a reality, where every person in every community has access to the opportunities they deserve. A future where our transportation systems are a source of strength, not division, and where every journey is a step toward a more just and equitable society. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, AASHTO, Center for Environmental Excellence, Josh, and thank you, Neji Kamto. I'd like to introduce just for a moment an opportunity for our representatives to say a few words. If you can imagine, this takes MnDOT, it takes Ramsey County, it takes the planning organization, Met Council, it takes the city of St. Paul to partner with communities. But it also requires the leaning in of elected officials. And so at this particular point, I'd like to introduce our representative, Samakab Hussein, to say a few words, and our city council, Ward 1 councilperson, Anika Bowie.
Thank you. Thank you, Keith Baker, and hello, everybody. Hello. Are we excited? Yes. I am excited. And my name is Representative Samakab Hussein, District 65A. I do represent the Rando community, and it's in my heart. And I want to thank all the people that came together to address the issue, because what I believe in is the power. Put it back into the community. That's one thing in my agenda that I believe in. And I have been working with the Rando Reconnect closely with my office, because I want to make sure that, the racial and social disparity that has been exist for many years to be addressed. And I want to thank also the summit. The 20 plus community has get together to address and to talk about it. Because one thing that my office has been pushing is we want to hear from community. The power is within the community. We want to make sure that they decide what's right for them. They decide what's good for them. And we want to make sure that we support them financially. And I'll be advocating at the state level to make sure that this has to be addressed. And I want to thank everyone that came out to support. This is what takes a community. What we say is, my mom used to say, it takes a child to raise it takes a village to raise a child. This is a collective community. It has to come from the community, and they have to say exactly what they wanted to say. I want to thanks to Keith Baker for putting together not only this summit, but it has been a lot of roundtable that I have been there in the community, and it's coming from the people. And we are for the people, and that is one thing that I want to make sure that I support, because I'm not only supporting, but this is coming from within the Rando community, the elders, the young generations, and elected officials as having a dialogues and communicating. This is not only one time, but it's been happening 3 times or 4 times or maybe more than that. That has been that Keith Baker and the Reconnecting Rando are hosting meetings, because we want to make sure that this output come from the people on the state level. And District 65A, we're 100% supporting for the Reconnecting Rando. Thank you very much. And I would like to introduce my great city council, Anika Bowie.
Thank you. Welcome, everyone. I just want to say I'm going to do something unprecedented today. I'm going to try to keep my remarks to under 60 seconds as an elected official. I have a council meeting in just a few moments, so I'll be brief. I just want to say thank you for all of the leadership, all the cities, the states, and national partners here, ensuring that we are sharing best practices around equity inclusion. And one of the things I want to highlight is justice. Justice around healing, justice around repairing the harm, and also ensuring that we are centering the voices of community. I am a representative of Ward 1. Rondo is in the heart of my district. Rondo is also the hometown to my families for little under 100 years. And these major investments are so critical. I grew up in a time where I saw really crystal clear that there weren't any investments. So now being in an administration that is investing in transportation, community wealth building, housing, affordable housing, it's really important. And also making sure we're not repeating the harms of the past that has been echoed earlier today. I just want to say thank you for being here. I just want to also mention that our city partners are a critical piece. What we do at the city is ensuring that we have the proper zoning, to have strong infrastructure, and also highlighting different ways to generate revenue for us to invest in our streets. So as you are doing the lofty planning and the policy research and the community partnerships, we are doing the implementation. So it's so important that we have city representation here. So again, thank you for being here and sharing knowledge, and I hope you have a phenomenal weekend.
Thank you. Now it's time to hear from others outside of Minnesota. We've got 3 communities. I'd like to first establish and invite a representative from Akron, Ohio, to say a few words.
Greetings and salutations. My name is Esther Thomas, and I'm from the city of Akron, representing the city of Akron as its Diversity, Equity, Inclusion Director. It's an honor to be here at the Reconnecting Community Summit. Thank you, organizers, thank you, leaders, for this opportunity to share in the spirit of Reconnect Rondo and tell you about the city of Akron and the Inner-Belt Project. 1970s and the 70s, the highway project called the Inner-Belt was designed to connect 2 highway systems to facilitate traffic from suburban workers to downtown Akron. This act of creation destroyed a vibrant Black neighborhood. Its cultural centers, its spiritual centers, its commerce centers, and the values of the homes that were snapped up very cheaply due to eminent domain. And this was the 70s. That was, 50, 60, 70, 60 years ago. In 2020, our city engaged the services of a spatial activist and architect to help us reclaim our community, our stories, our histories. Who lived in those houses? Who remained and who was released into the Akron diaspora? Because again, those folks had to go somewhere because the highway was coming. Through that process of telling stories, getting folks to talk about their shared grief and trauma of losing their home, their stakehold, their place in the city, their community, their childhood, their childhoods, their adulthoods. We have now gotten to a place where we are actively planning and hoping for a new future with the community, not to the community, so that we can claim and reclaim that space that was taken and destroyed. In January of this year, the mayor of Akron, Shamus Malik, assigned Susie Graham Moore, Director of Economic Development, Kyle Julian, Director of Planning, and myself, Director of Diversity, Equity, Inclusion, to bring about a new vision for that space and to include voices that had previously not been included. We are hopeful, we are excited, we are dedicated, because if we can make Akron better and reconnect our community, it will be a model, hopefully, for other places, as Rondo Connect has been for us, but also that this is truly a community endeavor, and we are reaching out to all of our community members to assist in reimagining what can be, because we know what destruction had occurred. Thank you. Thank you.
I know for those who have traveled to Ohio, I don't know if you've been to Akron, but I'd suggest a visit so you can see firsthand what's just been reflected here. Now, Michigan is a big state, and people often say, well, if you hold it here, you can always say, well, this is where I live. We're going to, right now, hear from Michigan, the area of Detroit. And I think, where's Detroit? Right about there? A little lower. Anyways, I'd like to have Detroit come up with Michigan DOT to say a few words.
Thank you very much. Hi, I'm John Lurie, a Senior Project Manager with the Michigan Department of Transportation, and really excited to be here today to share our story about the I-375 project in Detroit, Michigan, and really have that opportunity to learn from others and learn about their similar challenges and similar projects from around the country. This truly is a new realm that we are entering into, these reconnecting community projects. And I think that no two are the same, and that there's lots of lessons that we need to learn from each other to really be successful in continuing to do these across the country. So I'll say MDOT as a transportation agency, we've worked hard with the community to develop new connections by converting depressed freeway of I-375 into a boulevard that is at grade and at city level. And while the project provides much greater flexibility and much greater opportunity to reconnect these divided communities through the infrastructure, it also has opportunities to connect through excess property that is created through this reduced infrastructure footprint. And these opportunities really need to be capitalized in a way that provides equitable outcomes that really honor the Black Bottom and Paradise Valley neighborhoods that historically were there, similar to many other freeway construction projects across the country. Through this urban area destroyed thriving Black communities in the city of Detroit through urban renewal and the Highways Act, and basically completely cleared these communities. These communities are no longer in existence today. So MDOT is really excited to develop these initiatives beyond just the transportation infrastructure with our partners, including the City of Detroit, the Kresge Foundation, and the Downtown Detroit Partnership. And we're excited because we really feel strongly that these partnerships will allow us to achieve all of the benefits that we possibly can from this project for the City of Detroit for today and into the future.
Thank you, John. Now, I know we've been concentrating on the Midwest, but we're going to send ourselves out to the east side of the United States. What we've tried to do is create representation, or an opportunity for representation across the United States. And I've had a chance to speak or Zoom with the folks of Buffalo. And so I'm going to ask Buffalo to be represented here today.
Good afternoon. My name is Sydney Brown, and I'm with the Restore Our Community Coalition from Buffalo, New York, and I'm so delighted to be here. And I'll just say I have to give all honor to God, and I'm so grateful for this opportunity. I'll say the unique things that are happening in Buffalo are because of him. And I'm going to start off by saying he's my way maker, miracle worker, promise keeper. He's a light in the darkness. My God, that is who he is, and that is why Buffalo is moving forward. Buffalo has a highway, Kensington Expressway, that divided a historically black community, similar to so many that have been mentioned today. And I'll say, as Ms. Esther Thomas mentioned, in Akron, Ohio, was the same thing of white flight and blight of getting suburbans to downtown Buffalo, a quick way in and taking resources out, and we are restoring a community back together. We are in a unique phase right now because what was a mission possible is or impossible is actually possible. We started this over 20 years ago, so I'm standing on the shoulders of many others, although I've been in the trenches for a considerable amount of time. We were awarded one of the first recipients of the bipartisan bill of $55 million from the Federal Highway Administration, and I'm excited that our project is actually going to be taking place starting in October. It is about 3/4 of a mile tunnel, decking, promenade, however you like to term it, which will restore about 13.9 acres of green space. And I'll say our project, unlike others, is really focusing on the green space. Buffalo is a city that was designed by Frederick Law Olmsted along with Kelvin Balks, where they put a city in a park instead of a park in a city. So we have a park system. And I'll say the two major parks, Delaware Park and MLK Park, as they are known now, were known as the Park and Parade. And I'll say parade for MLK because there were a lot of parades that took place. And I'll say even now with Juneteenth, we have a parade that goes through the neighborhood there. So ultimately, we are looking to restore that parkway system. We are reimagining, redesigning, and reigniting that connection. We are also working along with the business districts to reestablish those business corridors along Fillmore and Jefferson, and there's housing that needs to be done. So there's a lot of exciting things happening in Buffalo, and all those things are working in tandem with one another. And I'm grateful to say in history, we had city, county, state, and federal officials all unified together to bring this about, and I'm very excited about that. And also, one other thing, I'll mention that we are also part of the Legacy Cities Lincoln project, where we are working on establishing 100 new homes. There's a lot of infill that needs to be done, but I'm excited. It's an exciting time for Buffalo. I'm excited for the platform that Rondo has created here, making new relationships, and bringing back new information that can make our process more efficient and more equitable. I'll say it's all minorities are not equal. The African American community has been the most damaged from the harm of these highways and expressways, been displaced, and we are looking forward to them being the first benefactors. It'll be beneficial for everybody, but building generational wealth for the African American community in Buffalo, New York. Thank you.
Well, before we close, I just want to acknowledge a couple of things. As I've mentioned, we've got more than 20 communities that have gathered around this idea of putting collective power, genius to work. And when we think about a wide range of places that different projects are, whether they're in the early stage of planning or preparing for capital investments more directly. And with that, we have a lot of opportunities to share. For Reconnect Rondo, we've decided as a part of our mission to recreate 21 acres of new land, 576 housing units, business incubation area, but that's what works for us on the corridor of I-94. When we think about Michigan and Detroit, the I-375, they've decided to bring it to grade and to no longer have that arm of the freeway. And as we think about what's going on in Buffalo, Buffalo sees itself really linking its park space, really bringing about a way to use that as a catalytic opportunity. So we all are at different places, but we're so excited to have everyone gathering here in the great city of St. Paul, in the great state of Minnesota, in a place where we've got a lot of attention here for a lot of reasons. So with that, I just thank you all for joining us at the press conference. We'll see you on the next time we see you.